We're here with Kyle, first place winner of the 8-week league we've had here at our locals. So what'd you play?
I played Virtual World, Resident Sleeper.
All 8 weeks?
All but one of them.
Okay.
But 7 weeks out of 8.
All right, let's get into the profile.
All right. So 3, best card of the deck, Lulu. She's your searcher. You just can't not play 3. I mean, she's facilitates all your combos. She gets any piece you're missing. She sets up your Chuches if you don't have it. She sets up everything. Really surprised she did not get hit on this ban list.
They survived. Pretty lucky.
3 copies of Lily. She's the Foolish Burial of the deck. You want to set up a lot of stuff in your graveyard, so a lot of your spells and traps. She helps you facilitate that, and then some of your monsters you want in the graveyard. A lot of them have things to bring themselves back or summon back from graveyard. So having those options available, it's too good. Plus, she's a name. That's the important thing with this deck is names. You want to see as many virtual world monsters that can dump things as possible. Otherwise, you're going to have a bad time.
Hold up.
Okay. 3 Lao. She is the monster reborn of the deck. When she summons, she brings 1 back from grave, but it negates its effects. You use her to keep your extension going. So she's usually the one you're going to search off Lulu if you don't already have Lily. Other than that, you'd otherwise search her off the spell card. But either way, these 3 cards right here are your main pieces. If you see all 3 of those in a hand, you're golden. There's no stopping you. 3 copies of Gigi. Gigi's a Scarm for the deck, so it helps a lot with recursion. It's also just a name. It's important to still play it though. Being able to add a Lulu back at your end phase, it can sometimes avoid your opponent's banishing effects from graveyard. You don't want everything banished, but you want to kind of balance it between banished and graveyard. So being able to get something back, and also being able to use M7 to get another card back, you set up so much follow-up that usually after turn 1 it just chokes your opponent out. 3 copies of Nyan. She is vanilla. She does not do anything, but if you summon a level 3 monster, she comes back from the graveyard as a tuner. It's really good, especially with Gigi or Lulu. Being able to have an extra tuner to fix your tuners and non-tuner ratio is great. She banishes herself when she leaves the field, which is where you want her for like your Chuches. And then if she's banished, she gets to put banished cards back into your deck. Any card, which means Pot of Desires is no longer a neg. It is a break even. You just keep recycling these and put everything you banish that you need back from Desires. Everything else you can keep banished. And then we play 1 copy of Tao Tao. I almost didn't play this, but she's another level 6 target, which is helpful because you play so many level 3s, so making rank 6 plays is better. She also is a tuner, so she can fix hands where you open with Gigi and need an extra tuner to make your 9s, so your Shen-Shens, your Crocosaurs. If you need an extra monster to make an M7, she summons herself by discarding Psychics or Worms in your hand. So if you have a dead Gamma, pitch it, summon her. Hand traps. 3 Ash Blossom. I don't even know why I explained playing this card. It's just good.
It's just standard at any deck right now.
It's good. 3 Droll and Lockbird. Drytron I feel is my hardest matchup to play against, and nothing like having a card that just stops Drytron for a turn. I think maybe in the future this might get swapped for Bells and put this in the side deck, but that's yet to be seen. And then 3 Gamma and the Garnet. So this is free. When you start summoning your virtual worlds, they all activate in hand. And if your opponent's trying to ash you or gamma you back while they're in your hand, you still don't have a monster. So you can gamma their Ash, their gamma, and continue your combo off. So it's super good. It sucks too, but Driver is just kind of a natural brick. The really cool thing though is Driver is level 6, so it floats into your synchro plays, your XD's plays really well. If you need a level 3, it goes into a synchro 9. Worst case scenario, you can tribute summon it and start summoning that way if you absolutely need to get rid of something or need to start something. But I feel like it's too important not to cut. I wouldn't cut gammas for anything. That's it for monsters. For spells, 3 Kowloon puts Chuche face up. That's all it does. Everything else doesn't matter. 3 Kinglong. You never want to see this card, but you have to play 3 because you need to send as many copies to the graveyard as possible. It's your searcher. This will always be one of the first cards you send to the graveyard from your deck. It banishes itself to search a virtual world, so it's basically a Rhoda. It can also banish cards from your graveyard to negate monster effects. It's kind of okay if you need spot removal, like getting window off for a turn.
Okay.
But other than that, I really don't like using it for the field effect. It's good if you need to like make break sword and pop something. 3 Desires, because it's not a neg anymore. Thank you, Nyan Nyan. Needs to be played. This deck loses to itself more than anything else, so you just need something to draw. You need to add cards afterwards. And then lastly, 2 Dark Ruler no more. Dragoon is a pain, and it's just an insurance policy against Dragoon or other big boss monsters that can't be destroyed. Let you set up so if you open the full combo, you have access to a Chuche pop on turn 1, so you can Dark Ruler, full combo, and then Chuche pop the problem. So Dragoon, you Dark Ruler it, full combo, Chuche pop, and then it gets banished because you'll have Shen Shen.
Nuts. Traps? Just 3?
Yep, just 3. 2 Chuche. Pops a card. Literally the reason this deck is good. It recovers all your resources. You shuffle 2 banished virtual worlds into your deck. Pop a card. So good. And then 1 copy of Zhanwu. You only use it for its graveyard effect. It is a monster reborn in the graveyard. You banish it and summon one from the graveyard, discard a card. The discard kind of sucks if you need a lot of cards in your hand, but normal you don't. Everything else is just extra if you have Lulu and City. But it has an effect to flip stuff into defense mode during battle phase, so like it can be kind of clutch if it's a really slow grindy game. You just don't want it to become that.
Why did you choose this deck?
Because Shen Shen. It's so good. I mean, you just throw it on the board against most decks, and they have to burn through so many resources to even out it, and then it just keeps coming back. Like, you burn 2 hand traps, and they out your Shen Shen. Banish Ash, banish Stroll from your graveyard, summon Shen Shen back.
That's a pretty crazy plays. Are we doing extra deck or side deck first?
I can do extra deck. So, 1 copy of the Queen Shen Shen. She is a pseudo walking macro. Banishes all cards that leave the field. So you start running stuff over, they get banished. Your opponent activates spells and traps, they get banished. It's ridiculously good. It also puts your banished monsters back in the graveyard when it attacks, so you can recycle Nyan Nyans. If you banish them to summon back Shen Shen, and then put the Nyan Nyan back in your graveyard after you shuffle something in, it gets outed. You banish the Nyan Nyan from your graveyard, bring it back, shuffle more stuff in. The recursion is so good in this deck. Play 1 copy of Vermilion Dragon Mech. Super spicy spot removal. Everything is 9 or 6 in this deck.
Okay.
It's all multiples of 3. So just having another rank 9 tech. I was thinking about Trish, but I felt Trish was too situational, and it's too hard to go into since you need the 2 non-tuners. A lot of your tuners end up being level 6, or your non-tuners end up being level 6 due to how the deck works. So getting 3 level 3s that are 1 tuner and 2 non-tuners is difficult to do. 1 Ravenous Crocosaur Arcatheus. It's extra draw power to keep your combos going. You play this along with the Stardust Charge Warrior to get you 2 draws during a turn. And then this card gets bigger the more cards you have in your hand. And it's got a quick effect to discard 2 and pop a card. So it's extra interruption during your opponent's turn. They summon a monster that's a problem. Pitch 2, pop it, and if you have Shen Shen, it's banished. So it can interrupt combos. Other level 6s, Coral Dragon. I don't really ever use this except if I need to make something super spot removal, but it also draws a card if it leaves, so it's got a spot. Juju, again, another one you don't really play. It's good against certain decks that like to destroy cards a lot because it can't be destroyed if you have 2 monsters with different types and attributes, which not hard. Either they are wind psychics or worm earth monsters. So as long as you synchro summon it, you've got the requirements. Geomathric Final Sigma. This has been the most fun tech card I've played. With all your tuners and non-tuners being just big level 6 monsters, making this is 2 cards. And it's unaffected by everything, so it's good against a lot of control decks that can't make a big enough monster to out it. And then it does double battle damage, so I play Utopia the Beyond. If you bait the Dragoon Negate, you can make both of these, and then OTK with it. This will attack Dragoon, and it'll do 6,000 damage.
Utopia, when it's summoned, all monsters your opponent controls go to 0, right?
Yeah, all their attack goes to 0. So, really, really fun Dragoon out. For synchros, I play an Ultimate Zulkin and Crystalling. Okay. I'm not playing the full Dragoon package. I don't think it's necessary.
Okay.
It's too many extra deck spaces. Just dropping a Crystal Wing with Shen Shen is enough to stop most decks. Against decks like Salad, all of their link material goes to gets banished, so they have no Bailing's recovery, no follow-up, no way to give access code 1,000,000 attack points. Against Drytron, every time they tribute them off to summon them, you can either negate them and banish them with Shen Shen, or you can negate the other key pieces like the XYZ, the Ben 10s, the Beatrices, the Avas. If you're really in trouble, like Herald of Orange Light, you can negate. It's just a good combo. It's not super necessary, but it's good if you have extra gas to go into. XYZs, I play 1 M7. Again, all your stuff's level 6, level 6. So you just add them back to your hand. More recovery for next turn. You can also add stuff like your synchros back to your hand, to your extra deck, and keep reusing them. So if, like today, I had somebody out my Crystal Wing, and so I M7'd the Crystal Wing back, set another card, and summoned it off Zulkin. Fan. Good spot removal, good graveyard removal. I really never go into it, but it's there. This entire deck's just a toolbox. Utopia Beyond, mentioned it earlier with the Final Sigma, makes everything 0. Good way to out big stuff that you can't normally get over. Gaia Dragon for piercing damage, good for time. If you need to do the piercing damage game 3. I don't play Zeus in this deck. I think Zeus is a crutch. And I've not played this deck once and never thought, damn, I need a Zeus. So, I probably won't change it with Zeus being reprinted. I don't think it's good. Play 1 Break Sword. Good to get rid of your opponent's spot removal. It gets rid of your continuous spells, so you can search again and keep going. One Fortune Tune. This is really good against decks that have a lot of removal. You drop this against them, and it can't be destroyed twice, essentially. If it would be destroyed, you detach a material instead. So, you can make this if you really, really want to stall, because you'll gain 500 life points during each of your standby phases. So, it's kind of funny. Can win you a game in Game 3 if you need it. Then the last spice is Beatrice, and this is actually for the side deck. I'll get to that in a second, but being able to dump a card. Certain cards in the side deck are good against certain matchups, and you'll just have to see here shortly.
How many cards in the deck?
40, 15, 15.
Okay.
Standard. Now the new ban list is out, I might be messing around with some emergency teleport shenanigans. I don't know yet. So side deck 1 Pankratops, it's good. 3 Nibiru. There's a lot of decks that are heavily combo based here, and don't rely on the Appaloosa at 5 trick. So Nibiru is free against them, as long as you know where their negate is. A lot of times I just shotgun this, and then hope it sticks. A lot of the combo decks, or a lot of the players, don't have a lot of answers for recursion, so you just shotgun the Nibiru when it hits, and then move on. And then if the token's too big, you just pop it with Chuche. So here's the spice: Necroworld, Banshee, and Zombie World. This is what the Beatrice was for. This absolutely kills Salad, and that was one of the best players here, so I wanted to counter for him. You can set up the Beatrice turn 1 instead of your M7, and you send the Necroworld Banshee. When they start their turn, you quick effect banish the Banshee, put Zombie World up. They can't play. They just can't play the game. Feather Duster, 2 Twin Twister. I like this ratio. You don't want to discard a lot of cards, especially because you need extra cards to keep discarding off your virtual world spells and traps. So I really wish I could play more Feather Duster, but it's whatever. There's a lot of back row decks here. 3 Anti-Spell. Probably never ever gonna play this again. I don't think I sided it once in 8 weeks. It was just there for filler. I was expecting a lot more Sky Striker, especially after the Engage back, but it never happened. That's what it was mainly for. And then lastly, Different Dimension Ground. A 1-turn macro for monsters is ridiculous. Again, it works as basically a Shen Shen. But if your Shen Shen gets outed, so against decks like Drytron, Tri-Brigade, anything like that, even Dinos, you flip this on them and their turn ends. If it doesn't end, they go through so many resources to end the board that if you break it once, they're done.
It's over.
They're done.
Alright, any shout outs?
Shout out to all my people from GI that's helped me playtest this. Manuel, Matt, my brother over here. Without them timelessly playtesting against me and figuring out where I screw up on my combos, this wouldn't have happened. Shout out to the people in Columbus for having us, for not getting salty when we come in and beat them all the time. Shout out to Andrew for making it through COVID twice over there. Congratulations. Can't say that for YouTube. But just shout out to all the people here. It's a good time. I'm hoping the next league we have we'll be right back here with another first place trophy.
Alright, thanks for the time, man.